All right, I've started recording. This is the Sakai Morpheus weekly check-in on October 28th, 2015. This is Neil Caden, facilitator, and just to give a quick skin contest update that we have 6 to 7 entries for the Sakai skin contest, and it's been extended through October 29th for submissions, and then the judging panel is meeting on Friday. So we'll see how that goes. Wilma says, oh, pretty sure the Notre Dame is all one team, in which case maybe we have more like 5 and expecting a 6-1 from NYU. So it'd be nice to get a little bit more, but 6 is respectable. So that's all I got on that.
Cool.
Let's see. I'll repaste the Etherpad link so people can sign in there, and feel free to add agenda items or questions. So you want to go ahead, Mariano, and talk about the status of the Morpheus tool by tool?
Yep, I'll do a quick update.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah, so as you might already know, Neil has been sending emails like for last week and this week about this initiative that we believe it's really important, and we need to get more people from the community to participate and get involved, because it does not require technical skills, but it's something that will be really useful for for the safety of the Sakai 11 release, or however we want to call it. But because I don't know if you're aware, but we're all talking about Morpheus, but it has a lot of problems right now, especially with small devices. There is one Jira that I pasted on the Etherpad, which is SAC29989. That's just an example of what we were asking for, which is to navigate through the tools, try to use all the different functionality that from each tool, and make sure that that it works, or if it doesn't work, or if it's not being displayed properly, then just take a screenshot. And we recommended to use one tool, a Sketch, but any tool will be fine for screen capturing, and for after you do the screenshot, then maybe indicate which things you're seeing like that should be fixed. So in that example, in SAC 29989, we can see that calendar is just not working on small devices. So okay, so that's one example. So all the information is in the Confluence page. If you want to take a look, I could explain anything, if there is any questions about that. Actually, I think that it would be good to open that link, take a quick look, because all the information that I pasted on the Etherpad, it's already included in the Confluence page, because I'm trying to keep that page up to date as we move through this process. So so here there are some basic instructions. Please feel free to edit them if you think that something can be done in a better way, or like this is a collaborative thing. We just try to to get things started, but obviously we cannot do everything. And Edu is really busy trying to fix everything that he finds from Morpheus, Eduardo. But but it would be great if he gets some help trying to identifying the things that need to be fixed. That's where we wanted to get some more support from the community. So here the first step is we recommended to use those tools just because we are used to them, but any tool could be great. We really like Sketch. And then in the second part of the Confluence page, we created that table. As I mentioned before, it's a weekly process. So this team started with announcements. We did like a first I don't know how you say, but like to see if if this could work, to see if the things that we find they were useful for 28oct in order to actually fix things. We thought that he thought that it was useful, so then we extended this to the whole community, and and then we moved to week 2, which was last week. Well, actually 2 weeks ago, and then we moved to week 3, which is wait a second. Oh, okay, I know what's happening. Okay, sorry. So now we are on week 3, which is forums, and that's the important thing. So we have 2 Jiras open right now, which is the parent Jira for forums, which is 30,010 and 30,011. The other one is for dashboard, and the idea is to do like we've done in the others, is to create Jiras related to this one, or create substacks related to these parent Jiras. And you can see examples here. If you're not familiar with, or if you know someone that can help in this process and is not familiarized with Jira, he could create a Confluence page, and paste in the Confluence page all the screenshots, or he could just email someone from the Morpheus team, and we will create the Jira for him, and that's no problem about that. So I think that's more or less what I wanted to say. Okay, underneath that you have a list of Jiras that have been open during this process, but are not strictly related to one of the tools. So it's like general Jiras, and we are going to also include them in this Confluence page. And in terms of the progress so far, announcements has been fixed more or less. Messages has been fixed also more or less. So the main issues have been addressed. You can see on the table that the last column is for the pull request that that have been used in order to fix all those problems that were reported. So so that's mainly, and underneath that there is just a link to the QA server and information about how to test mobile devices with your normal browser, so that so it's easier. You need to actually do all of that with the smartphone. You can do it on the desktop, which is, we believe that it's way more useful for and easier for anyone. And we want to make the process really, really simple, so that we get more participation and we get more people involved, because as I mentioned before, we have I think, or we've seen that there is a lot of expectation about Morpheus, and that's great. And everybody wants Sakai 11 to be responsible, fully responsible, and being able to do all the things that that the users do right now on desktop. Everybody expects to be able to do all of that once Sakai 11 is released, and they expect to do that, with small devices. But the reality is that a lot of tools have a lot of problems. We need to fix all of that before the release, or at least, minimize the amount of problems that are right now. I think that's all I have to say. If there is still some confusion about what kind of problems we are talking about, you can open any of these Jiras that are in the Confluence page and take a look about the at the screenshots, because a lot of them are really explicit. I'm talking about like calendar, not being able to visualize the whole calendar because it goes overflow on the phone. I'm talking about not being able to read in a private message from messages to read the title because it goes also overflow. Things like that, like basic stuff. Yep. And the idea is that at least in this call. I don't know if I will be able to stay for the whole call, but the idea is to at least select which tools we'll be analyzing next week. Right now we have site info, which it could be just one tool for the next week, because site info includes a lot of stuff, so it will probably be enough. We could subdivide that into like the different menu options here in Confluence, and maybe create parent jitters for all of that. Like, whatever the group feels that is more appropriate. Yeah, but the idea is just to get reports from people and to make sure that people are actually testing Morpheus in small devices. I think that's enough. I will happy answer any questions that you might have, and we also have here Edu or Juanjo or Alex or like people that are involved in this process that I'm pretty sure that could answer the questions as good as I will try to do. So that's basically all.
Yeah. I wonder if one of the ways we can increase participation is maybe make it a little clearer in the announcement that it says you don't need technical skills. Maybe we highlight that all you need to be able to do is take screenshots. That's the only skill you really need to do this testing. If you can take a screenshot, you can participate in this testing. And maybe maybe really highlighting that. Maybe that'll help increase things.
Yeah, because actually the people that we need to test this is real users. I mean, it's people that is instructor that uses this type of weird questions from Samigo, and he create exams that he want, and he want his students to to participate on that exam during class. Things like that, like real scenarios. So yeah, so I don't know what's the best approach, but I guess this is a word. I don't know how you say in English, but word mouth mouth by mouth thing, kind of thing.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, something like that. That some instructor that usually like this to participate, or he uses this tool, things like that, and tell him, oh, hey, could you make sure that the tool that you really use is working on mobile devices, in trunk, obviously, and things like that.
Have we gotten participation beyond just the Morpheus team members, or is it so far only been
No. So far, only Morpheus. I mean, the people that you see over there is people from the University of Murcia and people from the University of Lleida, mainly the people that is listed on the Confluence page. It's a couple of colleagues from Alex, Jesus and Antonio, Eduardo. Those are from Murcia. So, and you, Neil.
Right. Yeah, so obviously we do need to expand. I mean, somebody from one institution did tell me they were going to participate, so I guess they haven't yet, or I hope they do. It sounded like they would, and yeah, maybe a little bit more individual outreach and a little bit again marketing it to make sure people know that it's so simple to do the testing. I think maybe will help. Well, it's worth a shot. So for next week, I'll just kind of reword the tweet, and I'll reword the message that goes out, and then also maybe we'll have time to do that. The only I think it's the right thing. I'm glad we'll keep moving forward. I appreciate it. From a QA perspective, I'm also going to be trying to get people to help with the maintenance release of 10, but I'll keep that completely separate. And that's the only thing I can think of. But it does seem like it's not necessarily overlapping, except for me personally, who wants all of the testing. I think for there may be certain institutions that are much more interested in testing the 10 maintenance release versus most other institutions are probably more interested in Morpheus. As I mentioned yesterday in the core team call, there are a lot of institutions. There's upwards of uh, roughly 30 institutions that are thinking already at upgrading to Sakai 11 for next year, and we don't even have a release schedule. So I think that shows the level of interest.
Yeah, I believe that there is a lot of interest in Sakai 11, and I think also in Morpheus, and a lot of expectation about having Sakai to be fully responsible and all of that, and that's great. But there's still a lot of work to do in order for that to happen.
Well, so talking of the individual outreach strategy, I think what I'm planning to do, probably it's going to be a little bit more after the Sakai Virtual Conference, since that's next week, and a lot of us will be participating and we'll be presenting. So maybe after next week, it might be worth putting a big edge. I think another effective way to recruit QA testers, I have these institutions and contacts that are saying, hey, we really want Sakai 11 for next year. I can write them individually. That might be time consuming, but it might be worth trying. Saying, hey, if you want Sakai 11 for next year, that means you need to help step up and do testing, because that's how we're going to get it done, is participation from the community. If there's developers out there, that's great too, bug fixers. But one thing anybody can learn to do is QA testing. It's not easy always, although this Morpheus testing is pretty easy for most people, I think. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking out loud, is that maybe putting a little more effort after the Sakai Virtual Conference is over. Maybe we can try, or I can try, putting a little more outreach to the institutions that are saying they want to upgrade 11 for next year, because it's not going to happen without their help.
Yeah.
It's sort of like an NPR. In the U.S., we have something called National Public Radio, and they're a free radio. So in a way, it's like open source radio. I don't know if you know them, but it's open source in that it's free, but then they ask people for their donations like all the time. It's like, we can't do this without your donation. So we're doing a LMS version of that. We can't do this without your QA support. So anyway, I'm just thinking out loud about strategies on how I might be able to recruit more of the community, because I think that is important to get more people involved. I do know also that different institutions are really, really busy with other, always local activities. But hopefully they'll be able to commit at some point, and we can get an uptick in the participation.
Great. Yeah, I think all the things that we, all the places that we will be, let's say, like next week. Like, for example, we have the Spanish Sakai, and we will, try to convey that message on that conference. Also on the virtual conference, there will be some sessions about UX, about Morpheus. Like, in those sessions, it would be great to at least mention that, that we need people to actually test. I mean, if people test Morpheus on a mobile device and they say that everything works great, then that's pretty simple. But I think that if they do test Morpheus on a mobile device, they will see some interesting things, and they will be surprised about how it is right now. I'm not saying that it's hard to fix them, because Edu is working on that, but and we trust Edu 100%. But yeah, I'm just saying that there are a lot of things. So
I see a question here, and Eduardo, I think, answered it. Laura Sierra wrote, what type of testing feedback are we wanting? Functionality. She was unable to see students she added to a section inside participant list, or superficial. Buttons are out of alignment. And Eduardo wrote, most superficial, buttons, overflows, things that he can fix, like your Jira, Laura, on how it behaves on Internet Explorer 11. So yeah, I'd say for this testing, right, what's nice about it, Laura, is that it is superficial, it's screenshots, and it's testing just with different sizes of browser. And there's instructions on how to do that. There's multiple ways to achieve that. I've played with testing on my phone, testing by using my browser smaller, tested There's instructions on Firefox and Chrome where they have instructions on how to make your browser size the right size to emulate a phone. So that's a really great thing. If you find other bugs, it's certainly great as well. I mean, the earlier we find issues overall, so the main focus is is screenshots right now. So that's the way we're doing it, to make it easy to get through a lot of issues and identify hopefully things that Eduardo would be able to fix. But I think that it's great if we also if you found some bugs, Laura, it's okay to open Jira, so you don't have to wait. There's nothing that's absolutely terrific, because we're going to need that too. We're going to need the functionality and the basic workflow. Thank you. So that's super.
Yeah, and if for those Jiras, we were using Morpheus QA. Those are the ones, I think, Morpheus QA. Someone could correct me. And those are for the ones that we don't have the tools created yet. It's just that we wanted to do it incremental to try to make it easier for people. But if you are testing another tool, just create the Jira and we will try to reorganize that. It would be great maybe to list it in the Confluence page also, which is pretty simple. If you edit the page, there is I don't know if people can take a look, but in where it says other Morpheus related Jiras that are general to Sakai discovered during this process, in that table, that's well, I have to be logged in, but that's a dynamic table kind of thing, and you can edit that and add the SAC ID, and then it will be listed in the over there. So that will just make things easier in order to to see or to keep track of issues, but it's not necessary to do that. I'm just mentioning it to it's.
I don't understand, Mariana, the difference between the Morpheus label and the Morpheus QA label.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty close. QA was intended for the ones that were created during this process, and the Morpheus one was the one that was already in use. So it's no problem. For the ones that I open, I added both of them. So if it's a confusion for people, just use one of them, no problem. Yeah, Neil, if you could go down a bit, since you're sharing your screen right now and I'm able to see it. I was talking about other Morpheus related Jiras. People could edit that list and include the key, the Jira key, and then it will be included in in this list. But as I say, we don't want to complicate anymore the process. It's just in case someone is familiar with Confluence, that would be excellent.
Looks like this is picking it up dynamically.
No, yeah, but when you click on edit.
Yeah, click on edit.
Yeah, when you click on edit, then you choose which Jira. Yeah, over there you add your Jira, the key in the top, and then you say insert, and then it's it will include all of them.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
So Laura or others, I would anticipate you don't have to do this, but if you want to, because everybody I think should have editing rights to the page. If you don't, you could check with me, and as you can see, you click on it, you click edit, and you just type in the number of the Jira and comma and the number of the Jira and click insert. So it's pretty easy, but we don't want to have too many barriers. So if people want to do that, that would be very helpful, but not required, right?
Definitely.
Could you not just create a query? I guess we'd have to create some sort of other label, and that might make it more difficult. That's why it might be easier to have the individual issues in there, because as I'm sure you know that
that this can pick up issues automatically in Confluence. You can just give it a query or a filter, and it will automatically display all the issues without having to type them in.
That's a different option, but we will need some kind of criteria to select, like maybe by using a label, by using, that was the initial idea, but I won't take any more time on this because, as I say, like what we need is action and get people to actually, do the. This is in a way to better organize the
Well,
things, but
thing we could do, which we could do for another meeting, an idea. This is just an idea. I don't know if it's a good idea. We could actually use one of these meetings to show people an example of testing. Like I could do screen sharing, or somebody else could do screen sharing and show the process of testing a tool, and maybe we can get them engaged in testing as well and contributing screenshots and get people engaged that way. Do you think that'd be a good idea, or is that more work than less?
well, I think it could be a good idea, but I don't know, if we will get participation for that.
Right.
Because we are not getting, too much participation on these calls. So,
Although today, better than average. Although I guess it's a lot of from Europe, right? Because we have several more people than usual. So. Can we call out? Yeah, Laura. Actually, I did include a call out on the teaching and learning call. Not today, but last week, and I could certainly make it a regular thing to call them out for QA or for Morpheus. Sometimes you have to tell, it's also true. Sometimes you have to get the message out there multiple times. So people, sometimes they think about it and say, oh, we're going to participate in that, and they forget, and they hear about it a couple more times and they remember, and then start participating. So, repeating is not a bad idea. And that's what we're doing with the emails. We're sending those every week, and, could certainly mention it on the teaching and learning call, more again. Yeah, I hope that maybe more people have time now that the semester's underway. That's a good point. So I'm curious, since there's no other agenda items at the moment, I don't think, or is there? Oh, wait a second, maybe there is. Okay, testing tool by tool. Jiro's coming in the last few weeks with label Morpheus. Is this today? Or is that last week? I'm looking at. Oh yeah, it's last week.
That's last week, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So where's the There we go. There it goes. Okay. So, so I don't think we have any other agenda items at the moment. So I'm curious. Really appreciate you jumping on the call today, and please leave your contact information and let us know, if you're able and still want to participate, which I take this as a good sign. So. You're certainly welcome to keep jumping in and helping. Let us know. If you want to send me an email how to contact you, that'd be great. Are there any other agenda items? Because if they're not, we can adjourn early and give people a chance to go test, do the tool by tool testing.
Sounds good by me.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll talk to you next week, and good luck testing.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Firefox. Where are you, Firefox? There it is. Ooh, there we go. Always available. Thank you. Oh, awesome. Okay. Let me stop recording here.